On any given magic card, there are two types of text. The first is the rules text, the words that describe what the card does and determines how it impacts a game of Magic. The other is flavor text, which is there for flavor. It's a little fragment of storytelling in a game whose structure doesn't really allow it to tell a cohesive or linear plot. If every bit of flavor text for every single card was irretrievably lost, the game of Magic would still play exactly the same, but these bits of microfiction provide world building and character development that elevate the game, and while a lot of the bits of flavor text are admittedly pretty forgettable, there are a few that have stuck with me, none more so than Beast of Burden. Beast of Burden, in just 3 lines of text, tells a moving story about the character Karn, the Silver Golem. It tells the story effectively, in large part, due to a single word, an apparently minor choice in diction that makes it instructive for both the craft of writing and also, the human experience. So let's dive in. Before we talk about Karn's story, we need to talk about Urza, his creator. Urza was a regular artificer turned nigh-omnipotent wizard, tasked with defending his home dimension from Yawgmoth, another nigh-omnipotent wizard, and his Phyrexians, a techno-nightmare hive mind looking to forcibly convert the multiverse to its dread gospel. The war between Urza and Yawgmoth is very macro-level, Warhammer 40k, cosmic-scale stuff. It spans millennia, includes reality-tearing magic, and sees multiple planes of existence get obliterated as prelude to the main conflict. To stop an enemy as existentially dangerous as the Phyrexians, Urza has to apply his cold artificer's logic to the entire world, resorting to increasingly ruthless acts that require progressively greater sacrifice until, at last, Urza realizes he has more in common with the cold machine god he's fighting than he does with the lowly mortals he's supposed to defend. But before Urza completely forsakes his humanity, he makes Karn. Urza had started the Tolarian Academy to study time magic, but an early experiment went catastrophically wrong, resulting in pocket dimensions where a day outside them became a century within. Not one to let a mass casualty event go to waste, but unable to send regular people to this beach that makes them old, Urza discovers that Silver is unaffected by the temporal disturbances, for some reason, and so he creates Karn, the Silver Golem, who can pass through these pocket dimensions at will. And Karn is great. He's a hulking robot, functionally indestructible, and would be more than capable of tearing his enemies apart were he not fully sentient and a committed pacifist. Karn is a gentle soul, one who cares about life in all its forms, an artificial being who nonetheless thrums with empathy and humanity. He is, in other words, about as different from Urza as he could possibly be. He's Frankenstein's monster cast in silver, slowly learning that the real horror is the one who made him. And so we have the card itself, Beast of Burden, an incredibly forgettable card from the Urza's Legacy set that depicts not Karn, but a random golem in Urza's army. I'll show you the flavor text, and if you'd like, see if you can spot the word that I'm so excited about. If it's meant to be nothing but a machine, Karn finally asked Joyra, why did Urza build it to be like me? Okay, what's the word? It's finally. To see what finally does here, let's see what the effect is without it. If it's meant to be nothing but a machine, Karn asked Joyra, why did Urza build it to be like me? Here, we still have Karn's realization that he was made as a tool, that his purpose in life was callously decided by a ruthless man, that despite his compassion and intellect and general personhood, he was built to be something less than a person. The dull automaton that looks like him is compelling evidence of these things, and Karn, without the word finally, has his epiphany that he is not meaningfully different from it. Epiphany, a word borrowed from the spiritual, is the moment of revelation, the crystallized second of a new thought replacing the old. James Joyce explicitly invoked the idea of the epiphany in his writing, and indeed a lot of modernist fiction, and especially modernist short fiction, can be thought of as focusing on some sort of secular epiphany. In Joyce's Araby, for instance, a young boy becomes disillusioned with love and adulthood after receiving poor customer service. The climax of the story is the moment of epiphany, and it is a moment, a point that neatly divides the boy's life into what came before and what came after. But if we put the word finally back in Beast of Burden's flavor text, we don't just have one moment. The realization is the same, but the timeline is longer. By saying Karn finally asked, it says that this thought had been percolating in him long before he said anything about it. It was a slow, stumbling revelation, not the awful eureka of catching a cheating lover in the act, but the gradual accumulation of suspicions until, without warning, they break through the denial and become fact. Within the word finally, you see the way Karn fought against accepting this realization, knowing it in whatever his analog for bones are, but refusing to give it the words that make it so terribly true. Without the word finally, we have a moment, but with it, like the time-ravaged island of Tolaria, a moment holds an era, one of doubt and denial. I like this for several reasons, but the biggest is that a slow, halting acceptance of an unpleasant truth is a lot more in line with my experiences than the sudden epiphany. And I don't think I'm alone. If people in general were quick to accept the new, then acceptance would be the first stage of grief, not the last. Exposing someone's cognitive dissonance would make them immediately reevaluate their beliefs instead of, as the studies suggest, digging deeper into their convictions. The epiphany as a sudden moment of change makes for good fiction, serving as a sort of shorthand for the actual process of someone changing their mind, but the actual process is slow and uncomfortable, a step back for every two forward, less of a clean break, more of an erosion. And so in the flavor text of Beast of Burden, couched in a story of god wizards playing 8D chess and elder dragons claiming dominion over their world and forces primal and incomprehensible and melodramatic, we have a protracted realization that's recognizably human amidst the space opera's deafening noise. The realization itself, that Karn has been manufactured by a conscious but uncaring maker as a weapon in a cosmic war, is not especially relatable, though it does echo our anxieties about the meaning of life and our place in the universe, but the way he realizes it, the way he fights against it, the way he sees the truth in not the sudden brilliance of a lightning bolt, but eyes acclimating to the darkness, that's the humanity right there. More than Karn's goodness, more than his pacifism, more than his deep sorrow for every life thoughtlessly crushed by warring gods, it's Karn's denial that makes him so recognizably a person. It's his doubt. It's his ability and willingness to turn from a terrible truth, and his clumsy bravery to face it at last that Karn truly joins us humans. Not ecstatic with epiphany, but despaired and relieved in a cruel truth we finally accept as truth. Thanks for watching this mini-essay. It's a lot shorter than what I usually write, and I am working on a longer piece on Final Fantasy VII and postmodernism that will hopefully be out sooner rather than later, but because I've, been really putting in a lot of time on that video to deliver as high a quality product as possible, I wanted to try out something a little different in the meantime. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like to see more of these shorter essays in the future. Take care.